Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels. Welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. Well, I hope you're having a great weekend and the weather is favorable towards you. We are pre-taping this show 2 weeks in advance, so I don't have any idea what the weather should be like. I put my shovel away the other day in anticipation that we won't need it for a while, but who knows? I can't look into the future, so hopefully on June 22nd, Saturday, as you're watching this, that you're having a fabulous Saturday. I want to say good afternoon to all of my listeners in Jamestown that listen to WRFA 107.9, low power to the people at 107.9, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Glad you could join us. We have a show that I think you will find most interesting because you're going to know somebody that's dealing with this condition, this disease, somewhere in your family, friends, or neighborhood. And I do ask you to stick around because I think you're going to find it pretty interesting and something that maybe will benefit even you. So please do stick around. Okay, so being the fact that we are pre-taping, that means we're not here at the moment, so do not call. Usually I give you a phone number to call in, ask questions. Don't. You're just going to get a busy signal or nobody's going to answer, nobody here. But I will tell you this much. If you do have a question, a follow-up question after today's show, you can always email us and I can always forward the question to my guest into the agency and so forth. Okay, so don't feel like you will be unheard. All right, and there's the information there, our contact information, social media. I always like to remind you that all the shows that we do here are for your benefit, for all of our benefit, because here in Chautauqua County, we don't always hear about things that are going on. And I look very hard for things that aren't typically covered in the newspaper or things that pop up that are more regional. And that is one aspect of today's show. We're going to be talking about something that you may not have heard of. So that's that. All right, so where are we right now if we're not live? The three of us that are here at the show, we can pop this picture up because we're somewhere, I think in Clarence at the moment. I'm futurizing this here. So Jeff, let's pop up that picture of us one more time. This will be the last time we're going to pop this up. The three of us are somewhere riding probably east of Buffalo. Hopefully the weather is nice and not windy. and Randy Bird, Jeff Zook, and myself. And for those of you that have contributed to our ride, thank you very much for your donations. We appreciate your support, and hopefully each year it grows. And the three of us are going under the team name of the Chautauqua Sunrisers, and we're probably going to be riding with about 7,000 other riders. So it's always a fun day. It's very emotional, and when you get done and you see people cheering you on, and you see that people that are dealing with cancer, and it's a moving day. So thank you again, and hope you enjoyed the show as we move along today. Okay, as always, I have a number of announcements that I want to share with you. So let's get started with those. Let me put my glasses on, because for whatever reason, this print gets smaller and smaller every year. Okay, this is a shout out to all my fellow musicians that Infinity Performing Arts Group over in Jamestown is looking for local musicians to participate in the 16th Annual Music Showcase coming up on September 7th from 6 p.m. to 2 p.m. Now, this is one of those mark your calendars for you non-musicians, but for local musicians, if you are interested in being a band and you're willing to donate an hour of your time, they are looking for acts, soloists, duos, full bands to participate. And if you give them a call at 664-0991, sign up. I've done this for like 8 or 9 years now, and it raises money annually for the Infinity program. And if you're not familiar with the Infinity Performing Arts, it's unbelievably phenomenal. I always say this, and I don't mean to keep repeating myself, but if I had participated in Infinity when I was a kid, Eric Clapton would be my understudy. I mean, because they do so much work with young people, they get such a leg up on their instruments, their vocals, their acting abilities at such a young age. The sky's the limit. And most of us in our musical field, including Eric, we studied with watching each other in other bands and things like that. So support them as best you can, and we'll talk more about this when we get closer to September as far as the various venues. Okay, let's go to Westfield. As a reminder, every Wednesday is Wine With Us Wednesday, and it's from 5 to 8 p.m. And this is an opportunity for you to visit the beautiful, beautiful vineyards right next to the Grape Discovery Center over on Route 20. And they feature a variety of award-winning Lake Erie wines, and it's only $4 a glass. They have light snacks, and I play there with Russell. We play there once a month, so you got to check the schedule. But it's from 5 to 8 p.m., and sometimes they have music, sometimes they don't. But it's a great place just to kick back on a Wednesday evening and relax in the vineyards. If it's a rainy night, that shouldn't stop you. Come on in. The Grape Discovery Center is gorgeous inside, and it's air conditioned. It's really, really, really nice. Okay, this is happening June 22nd, so that would be today. And this is Sip and Sample Berries and Cherries. Kind of an interesting one. All right, here we go. This is taking place from 1 to 4 today. Enjoy berry and cherry flavors from Sparkling Ponds Winery, Willow Creek Winery, Woodbury Vineyards, and Jack's Barcelona Drive-In. There's going to be live music from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. featuring Vile Habits, an old-time string band. They're featuring the cocktail of the day being a Concord Cherry Breeze. $10 donation at the door. Reserve your tickets today. Give them a call at 326-2003. Now, seeing this today, I probably wouldn't hurt to give them a call just to make sure that you have a space there. $15 table space for the day if you want to be there all day, and give Christina a call at the Grape Discovery Center. Okay, this is coming up in July, this next one. The 55th Annual Fly-In Breakfast. My good friends at the Dunkirk Fredonia Rotary Club, they've been doing this for a long time. They have a great breakfast there, and right there at the airport. And the planes come in. They have rides that you can purchase, I guess. And it says here, pilots eat free. So I don't know how many pilots show up for this, but from what I understand, it's a great fundraiser. What do they do with the money? It goes to all the programs that they support as a Rotary Club. And being a Rotarian myself, we sponsor things for kids and older adults, and do service projects in our communities, flower arrangements in the parks, and painting and cleanup and all kinds of stuff. So I encourage you to check that out, coming up on July 7th from 8 a.m. to noon. Okay, This was a fun one. Curse of the Comet. Okay, the Ripley Library Players presents Curse of the Comet. It's going to be held on July 11th at 6 p.m. at the Pine Junction Restaurant in Sherman, New York. Tickets are $40, but this includes the show plus a full meal, excuse me, of either chicken, fish, or steak, plus cash bar. It benefits the Ripley Library Building Fund. For more information, give a call at 736-3913. Now, the library fund is important because they're doing some big renovations. They've got a beautiful grant that's going to cover most of it, but they've got to come up with their local share, so this is going to help raise that money to help offset that cost. And it looks like a lot of fun. Curse of the Comet. And if you look very closely, down in the front row of the picture is our own Emerald Weish here from the studio, and she tells me she's a flirtatious, what did she say she was? Flirtatious singer or something like that. So it sounds like a lot of fun, so check it out. Okay, next coming up is near and dear to our heart. Listen to this one. The Westfield Memorial Hospital Foundation will host its 27th annual golf tournament with the Westfield Memorial Hospital medical staff proudly serving as its major sponsor. The tournament will be held on Friday, July 12th at the Chautauqua Golf Club, located in Chautauqua, New York. Consider joining the fun as the foundation celebrates its 41st anniversary in July. An early bird special is available to all those who sign up before June 20th. Okay, participants will enjoy golf on the beautiful lake course along with breakfast, lunch. Listen to this one. I think this is new. A steamed and raw clam tent, a cocktail reception, and a prime rib dinner. An array of prize opportunities will be available for a variety of contests. The Schultz Auto Group is providing a variety of prizes for the golfer lucky enough to score a hole-in-one. Registration begins at 10 a.m. with noon shotgun start. Many sponsorship opportunities are available for those wishing to show their support. I think for the last 6 years maybe, I don't golf, but I'm at the registration table. It's always great to see all the folks that come in to support the event, and they sign up for various raffles and things like that. So it's just a great day. As in the past, the foundation is holding a raffle in conjunction with the golf tournament. That's where I come in. I sell you your raffle tickets. This year's prizes include, listen to this, an electric bicycle. Hey, Randy Bird, if you're listening, you could get this one for the ride for Roswell. They have an LG 55-inch HD Smart TV, a Yeti cooler with accessories, a 3-piece wrought iron patio set, a stand-up paddle board, and a cast stone fire pit. Good prizes. Tickets are sold at the hospital's front desk right now, at the Westfield Farmers Market, and by calling Patty DePalma at 793-2338. 793-2338. Funds raised from this year's tournament will benefit, of course, Westfield Memorial Hospital. Okay, and my last one is the 6th annual Family Fun Day. This is another, mark your calendar, something going on here all the time. The Chautauqua Center has scheduled its 6th annual Family Fun Day in recognition of National Health Center Week for Friday, August 9th in Dunkirk. We once again, that being they, not me, they once again anticipate a large turnout of community members and their families as well as local organizations in attendance. The Chautauqua Center has quickly grown. Well, they currently have 6 sites open with which includes their administrative offices in Jamestown. They anxiously await their brand new grand opening, and 4 in Dunkirk. So they got all kinds of programs going on. They offer primary care, behavioral health, dental, and pharmacy services, both in Dunkirk and Jamestown, and on and on and on and on. Chautauqua Center would like to invite you and the organization to attend this event in Dunkirk. And if you're interested, let them know at 484-4334. And they're doing lots of good work. And that's all I have for announcements for today, kind of short. But let me remind you, if your club or organization has an event, a fundraiser, something special you want us all to know, give us a call. You can call us at 753-5225 and leave a message during our Saturday mornings. You can email us, you can text us, you can mail, do the old snail mail, whatever it is. It's free of charge. All I do is talk, and we announce your event, and happy to do that. So we're going to take a little break right now. We're going to have a public service announcement, and we're going to be right back with my guest. Stay tuned.
I'm always the first one up. I'm always up for a challenge. I'll overcome any obstacle. I don't believe in limits. I refuse to be average.
We're back. You're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels, and thanks for joining us. Always remember that if you can't watch the entire show, or if you're listening right now on the radio and you want to watch us on YouTube, you just go to YouTube, put in today's date, or my guest name, or my name, whatever, and Chautauqua Sunrise, and all 270 of our shows, whatever we're up to now, will be on YouTube forever and ever and ever. So right now I want to introduce to you for the very first time Brenda Burdick, who is involved with the lymphedema program at Westfield Memorial Hospital. And Brenda, we've been working on this show for like 9 months, a year. It seems like forever.
We have.
And I don't know how many apologies I've had from you. You don't have to apologize.
I know.
I know. But we really wanted you on the show, and we've stuck with it. And so I'm so glad that you could make it today. And so let's start our tape from the very beginning. Why were you interested in coming on the show? So what's so important?
Just to try to get the word out that we have started a lymphedema program at Westfield Memorial Hospital. It's a well-needed service, and we've been working really hard to develop it. It's taken so long to get on the show because we're working through, trying to get through all the caveats of starting a new program.
Okay. So you were ready, then you weren't quite ready, and then you were ready, can I go? And then today you're ready.
Yes, today we're ready.
So you're up and running.
Yes, we're up and running.
Okay. So people don't know you necessarily. So who are you? Where do you come from? Where did you go to school and all that good stuff?
Well, I'm from Mill Creek, PA,
Okay.
and I went to school at Mercyhurst Northeast
Alrighty.
in the PTA program, and have been working as a physical therapist assistant at Westfield Memorial Hospital for 3 years now.
Okay. So a physical therapy assistant, a PTA. So what does a PTA do?
We pretty much everything alongside the therapist. We carry out treatment plans, see patients, everything but the initial evaluations.
Okay. So when you were at Mercyhurst, were you thinking in any particular area of physical therapy that you wanted to go into?
When I was in school, I just wanted to be in outpatient orthopedics, and that's what I've practiced in since 2009.
Orthopedics meaning what?
Meaning knee replacements, outpatient,
Hips,
hips,
knees, shoulders,
yep.
Bones.
Yeah,
Okay,
bones.
all right. I think that's
Injuries.
Right. I have to go back to my Latin. I think that's ortho means bone or growth bone or something like that. Okay, so people know who you are at Westfield, right?
Yes.
So you're not brand new there.
No.
But you were very emphatic when we first texted and emailed that you were really into lymphedema.
Yes.
So you're the only person I've ever talked to or ever met till today, now I know two, that even used the word lymphedema.
Yes.
And until I started reading about lymphedema, getting ready for today's show, I didn't even know what it was. So I think, my wife and I have 4 kids. We knew what pitted edema was. For a woman that's pregnant, they get swelled up and it gets all kind of gnarly around your legs and stuff like that. That's the only time I've heard edema. But I didn't know what lymphedema was. So for their listeners and viewers, what is lymphedema in your own words? You don't have to get real technical.
Lymphedema, it becomes lymphedema when it's a chronic swelling. When you have a temporary swelling, it means you have a healthy lymphatic system. So you have temporary swelling during a pregnancy or an injury, and you're swollen for a while and you do steps to take care of it, and then it goes away because your lymphatic system's healthy. It, begins on carrying the swelling away along with the other systems of the body, and it doesn't become an issue. Lymphedema is when there's an impairment of the lymphatic system, various reasons, and then it becomes a chronic issue that your body is unable to manage on its own.
Okay. So, I told you if I write down a word on my pad, that's going to be a question.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, you said impaired. So, it's something that would be impaired. So, name some things, because I think, again, I think for my viewers and listeners, so what would those conditions be? What would cause something to build up in your system?
Cancer,
Cancer, okay?
meaning
We'll come back to that. So,
Yep.
what other things?
issues with the heart,
Okay.
causing like a chronic venous insufficiency with the pumping of the blood slowing down. Other than that, you know, it has to be an illness, an impairment.
Could it be from a traumatic injury, like in a car accident? Like
Yes.
something with a broken arm or leg or something along those lines?
Generally, if it can be repaired, your lymphatic system is located right under the skin and on top of the muscle. So if you had a bad enough accident or injury, it could impair the lymphatic system. But generally, we see lymphedema due to cancer and the venous insufficiency.
Okay, now what about head injuries? I know that people have had head injuries and they look like
Yes.
mushroom head. I mean, it's fluid that builds up, but that's different?
It would be different because the rest of your lymphatic system is functioning healthy.
Okay.
So
Just
if your
different.
system's going to take care of it, it's going to take care of it.
Okay, now you've said lymphatic system. Now I always hear people said, well, they had cancer in their lymph nodes. Is that what we're talking about here? Or a different system altogether?
Yeah, the cancer can be found in the lymph nodes. Breast cancer, testicular cancer, it can travel to the lymph nodes, and when it does, then they remove the lymph nodes,
Okay.
causing an impairment of the lymphatic system.
Okay. Okay, so the question just came into my earpiece, because I remember I told you I hear voices.
Yeah.
What does a lymph node system do?
Your lymphatic system is responsible for your body's immunity.
Okay.
Fluid runs through the lymphatic system. If you would get stung by a bee or a mosquito, your lymphatic system builds to remove the toxins and filter it right out of your body.
Really? So it sounds to me it's sort of like an irrigation system.
It is.
Okay. I get it down to local terms. So it's a system that moves fluids through your body, you said, and if something comes into your system that's like a foreign matter, it pushes it, and where does it go, through your liver? Or your
It gets
bladder?
filtered through the liver, the kidneys, and then finally you urinate it out.
Out it goes. Okay.
Out it goes.
Out it goes. So I mentioned before we came on the air that doing 2 shows in a row, my voice gets a
Yeah.
little tired. Then my father, before he passed away, had swelling of the legs. And when I thought about it some more, I think the term lymphedema was used at the time. And I believe it was caused from congestive heart failure.
Yes.
Am I on the right track?
Yep.
Okay. So walk us through congestive heart failure, because it seems to me, I know a lot of people that have been diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Young people, old people, I mean, middle age. So what happens?
Well, at the point in the veins, down by your calf muscles,
Okay.
there's pumps in the veins, and that they lose their ability to pump the blood all the way up back to the heart, just due to a damaged system.
Okay.
These pumps, when they're not pumping efficiently, the lymphatic system is in right with them. The lymphatic system lies down there, around the veins, and it is unable to, it doesn't have pumps of its own.
Okay.
So the lymphatic system moves with all other systems. So when that blood is not coming back up efficiently, either is the lymphatic system's flow.
Okay.
So then you can start to see swelling in the ankles, moving up to the lower legs, and it's just not clearing itself.
Okay. So with lymphedema then, to boil it down, it's the fluids get stuck.
Yeah.
Basically in a particular limb. Now, I mentioned somewhere, maybe I did, that I was a musician, and I have played in a number of places. I've played for nursing homes and senior citizens, and I can't help but remember a number of times that I've seen some folks come in wheelchairs, and maybe their hand is all swollen, or their legs are also. So can lymphedema be in any part of the body?
Yes.
So
Yep.
where can it go? The head, we said, head's not part of it.
Well, it can be in any part of your body, and it's due to some sort of damage. One of the lymph node areas just aren't pumping efficiently. You can get it in. It's generally in your limbs.
Okay.
That's the most common.
All right, arms and legs. So, is this an aging problem with people as they get older?
Not necessarily. It's more of, keeping yourself active and fit. It can happen for a host of reasons. It doesn't just necessarily mean that. But when your heart when you start to get problems with it, then, it's one of the host of the things that follows.
Okay, so if I assume that my body is like a pond and there's fluids in it, and it has to be circulated, and if that pump isn't in the right timing for the fluids, then somewhere along the line, some of those fluids are going to get left behind, right?
Yeah.
So it's not coming back to the heart, regenerating, and so forth. So I've seen, in my dad's case, one leg was pretty big. So you could just have it in one limb?
Yes, you can.
Okay, one arm, one limb, one foot.
Arm, yep.
Okay, so then when I was getting ready for the show, I actually studied these things beforehand.
Well, that's nice.
Okay.
That helps.
All right, yeah. I have to admit that I was taken aback that there were, and I don't believe everything I read on the internet, but I assumed that this was reasonable. There was like 10 different steps to lymphedema. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
So the first, and I'll get you started. How's that? I'll jumpstart the discussion.
Yeah.
I remember the first thing was that your limb felt heavy.
Yes.
It wasn't swollen, it felt heavy. Because the reason why I want to bring this up is because so many times I bring guests on my show and they say if people did preventative things early on, then they won't get way stage 5 or 4 or whatever. So what do you mean by a limb feeling heavy?
It starts to feel heavy, tingly, not quite right, and it'll start to ache. And that means that the fluid is building. So at this point, if most people got treatment, it really increases a better outcome of it not going into a permanent stage.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you the very tough question. So, does it kill you?
Lymphedema, it's a chronic condition that's so hard to manage. I wouldn't say necessarily it kills you, but it can make life
Really
pretty
miserable.
difficult. Yep.
And I think, is the word comorbidity, did I say that right?
Morbidities.
Yeah,
I
when
mean,
you
it
got more than
increases
one,
your- yeah.
I mean, everything starts to fall apart
Yes,
after a while.
it's more
comorbidity.
a part of that.
Okay, so the first symptom was the limb feels heavy. So if someone's watching right now or listening, they're going like, yeah, that their right arm just doesn't feel right. What should they do?
They should go to their doctor, get it checked and see if, what's going on, because it can always be an injury of some sort, but generally if it's the whole limb.
Okay, so what do they do? Do they do like x-ray or?
Well, we're starting to try to get awareness out to doctors about lymphedema, to try to get them to be aware that it could be lymphedema, and have the physicians get their patients off to us to be checked.
Okay, this is going to sound like a silly question, but how long has the lymphedema been around? As long as mankind?
Yes.
Okay, so why are you just now having to get this out to docs?
Well, I think that the lymphatic system is one of the least known systems, to be honest.
Okay. So it's not an obvious thing? It doesn't jump out at you? It's sort of, you just shake it off, it's just a temporary thing, don't worry about it, it'll go away kind of thing?
Maybe I walked too much the day before, maybe I lifted too much. You know, we'll see if it goes away.
All right, so then I can't do all 10 symptoms, but I remember the next one I think was you start to swell up.
Yeah.
Okay, so tingly feeling. So does it probably, I would guess, it takes each person a different time frame, but is there any time frame to this? Or?
I think it's a slower process. Like you said, I think the timing is individual. I don't think that, you know, one amount of time fits all as far as.
All right, so then fluids, you get puffy. All right, again, this should be like an alarm going off. Right? So let's just say my arm was puffy right now. How would, I know you could tell that one's bigger than the other, but it could be, you say, well, you know, maybe I bumped it, but is there anything you can do at home to diagnose it? I mean, do you touch it and you can see a white spot? They always say you can do that with pitted edema. Is there anything you can do? Just say.
Well, I don't think that diagnoses it, but yeah, you can push in on it and see how long it takes to, for the spot to disappear. But there's really no home remedy. You really should get to your doctor because it could be a sign of something more substantial that started it to begin with.
All right, so I'm not going to get into treatment yet. I'm still walking my way through symptoms here. Okay, so it seems to me that I remember that, you know, the limb gets bigger and puffier and all that sort of thing. And then I'm going to jump ahead the symptoms because I don't remember all of them. I'll just kind of relate to what I remember seeing with other people, even with my dad. I remember the skin getting almost kind of red. What's that all about?
Just that when lymphedema is not treated, skin changes start to take place. So your skin is stretching to hold the fluid. The staining of the limb when it's in the legs can be what they call hemosiderin staining. That
Hemo is blood, so I got that part.
Yeah, so that's the type of staining is from the venous insufficiency.
All right, so when you say staining, this is more or less kind of like a permanent coloring?
Yeah, it permanently colors your skin. And then when the lymphedema comes along, then you start to get the puffiness and the redness. And
I remember saying to my dad, were you out to get a sunburn? I mean, that's how red it was, I remember.
Hopefully it wasn't going into, you know, a cellulitis type thing, because you have to watch, you know, there's all different stages and grades, but when it gets really painful and hot, it can go into like a cellulitis.
All right, so we'll continue with symptoms. So then I recall after it's red, then the skin actually gets like peeling and chafed.
Well, the skin just starts to try to find more ways to compensate and find more room for the fluid that's building inside. So usually it starts to get bumpy, you know, getting little vessels that can hold more water.
It's doing everything it can to contain all this fluid.
Yeah, to contain this fluid because...
So at this point, we're getting to like a danger zone here, I would think, basically. And again, it's not necessarily fatal, but it's really making life miserable for you.
It does.
Because the next level's up, the next symptoms I remember, now you start getting blisters and lesions, cuts and oozing and things like that, right?
Yes.
Which is then infections.
Yes, and that, well, they might not be infections yet, but that's can draw in the bacteria for a host of infections.
Okay, so let's go all the way back to the beginning. Day one, if you got a concern, get it checked out.
Yes.
So let's go with the various symptoms and treatment. So what do you do Now the doctor says, okay, you got early stages. You watched Doc's show, and Brenda said you should get checked out. So what are they going to do day one with someone just has like get a little puffiness or it's getting heavy? What do you do for them?
What do we do for them,
Yeah.
or what do we suggest?
It doesn't matter. You tell me.
Yes,
What do you gotta do?
if we get them in to be assessed, we'll go over. The PT will do an evaluation. See what it could be coming from. Sometimes the doctor will suspect something else as
Right.
far as breast cancer, if there's other things going on, and we can start in trying to get it under wraps
Okay.
for them.
So, and I know we talked about this, and we're not going to dwell on this, but I always touch on this. So basically, this is like any other condition. Your insurance most likely covers it, and if not, you need to check with your provider. But don't let that stop you. You
Yeah.
know, but this is a serious condition.
Yes.
And don't stay at home stewing about it. Going on the internet and comparing your picture with what's on the internet. Don't compare with your sister or your brother.
Yes.
Get it checked out early, because all the symptoms we talked about so far, they're pretty serious, right? Yeah.
Yes, and we can avoid those by getting treatment early.
Okay. So what is the treatment? What do you do?
We do a technique called manual lymph drainage.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
It's
Manual, say it again?
lymph drainage,
Lymph drainage.
MLD.
Okay.
So we get in there, and it's actually a really nice treatment.
Mhm.
It's gentle massage of the lymphatic system.
All right, that sounds
Say
so
that
bad.
3 times.
Yeah, I can. I couldn't say it the
And-
first time.
I know. And we generally try to get the fluid going to, all the lymph node beds opposite the one that may be affected, that's not functioning
You're really
properly.
into this, aren't you?
Yes, it's an awesome system.
Lymphatic beds.
Yes.
I'm learning more about the body than I ever had. All right, so obviously, because you're pooling some fluids, you want to move it to somewhere else? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, we want to avoid the lymph nodes that are affected and causing the limb to swell. So we try to gently move the fluids to be taken on by your other body systems.
Now, is this something new?
No, it's been around for a very long time.
So it's just massaging it and moving it around. Okay. All right. So, and this is done in the PT department.
Yes, it is.
So you don't have to like get into a bed. They don't give you needles or nothing like that, right?
No, well, you get down comfortable on a treatment table. So if you can handle that, you can handle this treatment.
What I mean, you don't have to put on a little robe that ties up in the back and all that stuff. I mean, this is separate.
Yes,
Okay.
maybe a robe if we have to get to an area that.
All right, but what I mean, it's not like typically going in for surgery or something like that.
No, not at all.
Pretty low level, pretty
Yes,
easy. So no
yes.
excuse not to get the service. This is
No.
where I'm going with it.
No, it feels good to get that fluid
I bet it does.
moving.
I would think that pressure would be very uncomfortable after a while too.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you said there's no cure for this.
There's no cure once it becomes chronic.
Oh.
If you catch lymphedema early, you have a shot of resolving
Okay.
the lymphedema, managing it, so you don't have to deal with it every day.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a funny question now. And so let's just say I had lymphedema in my arm, and when being a musician, who knows what could happen in your arms. So let's say I come for treatment, and you do this drainage, and it moves it out, but then it starts coming back. Is that something you could do at home, or your spouse could do for you?
We try to teach manual techniques to work on it yourself now that you know what it is and how to treat it. Compression garments like the one that I'm wearing, that keeps all of the lymph fluid out of the limbs and helps you manage it.
Okay, now I'm going to go off on a little tangent right now. For all
Okay.
of those of you who are sitting here right now that have to wear compression socks, all right, this
Yeah.
is for you. LaTroy tells me, Dr. LaTroy, Nervell over at the wound clinic, there are like 53 different kinds of compression socks and sleeves
There
and
is.
stuff. So don't go online and order whatever you think, oh, that's like $5.99 to get a
No.
compression sock. There are like Velcro, there's zipper type, there's just all kinds. Take
They're
it from
expensive. Yes, they're expensive. They have to be custom fitted to you,
there. Yeah, but
or you're just wasting your time. You know, the general person doesn't know how to pick out what you need.
my dad didn't swear as a rule. But I think he swore at the compression socks he wore because I don't know how the poor guy could bend over and pull those things up, and he got these things. I don't know how he.
Yeah,
So I think he finally gave up wearing them. He just put
Yeah.
them on whenever I show up.
it's tough.
But there could have been something else he could have used. So, and is that something you help people with? Is finding a good compression?
Yes, we do. Once we get going on the treatment, see what they need, we try to help them out in getting the proper compression. We want to work with them for a while so we don't order compression too soon,
Okay.
because we want to see if we can reduce. And then we also work with representatives if it becomes a need to have a pump at home. So there is a pump out there that they can use every day.
What is this like a blood pressure cup?
It's they have sleeves.
Okay.
You zip up into it, and it'll do like it tries to mimic what we do manually,
Oh.
so a patient can have
I've
access to it every day.
Never heard of this before.
Yeah.
And where do you get one of these?
Usually I work with our representatives, and once a person goes through the treatment and therapy, then we try to qualify them
And you're
for a
doing
pump.
this at Westfield Memorial Hospital.
We are doing it all at Westfield Memorial Hospital.
Very awesome. Okay, so one more thing on compression socks. They're ugly. I don't want that color. They come in different colors?
They come in any color you want anymore. They
See?
come in tie-dye. They're trying to make it so
Tie-dye.
it's a little more,
Yeah, I do. Ugly.
yeah, less ugly.
Because I know people say, I'm not going to wear those. Don't go wear my dress. They don't go wear my shoes, whatever. So good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear it.
You can get them with tattoos if you'd like.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Way cool. Okay, so we talked about the heart. We talked about congestive heart failure. Now you mentioned breast cancer. I don't have any idea what lymphedema has to do with breast cancer, so school me.
Okay, well, I can school you the best on that. I was
Okay.
diagnosed in 2015 with breast cancer.
Oh.
And it's like being put on the front row of a battlefield with no idea what you're supposed to do first. So in my case, they had found the cancer in 6 lymph nodes after a lumpectomy. And they had to go in there and remove those. Patients that have a mastectomy, that is a lot of swelling
Okay.
on your sides and into your arm. So I was lucky to go with physicians right away that moved me in the right channels to therapy, get the swelling managed. And now I wear my sleeve as management. I can take it off and not feel the swelling because I had this manual lymph drainage treatment therapy right away, fitted into a sleeve, and it's become.
You walk the walk.
I walk the walk, so
yeah.
it's become my goal to help every other woman out there walk the walk with anything that has to do with lymphedema.
Well, good for you. Well, good. Now, crossed my mind here, and this wasn't one of the 10 questions I sent you, is lymphedema hereditary?
Lymphedema, I'm not sure the correlation between hereditary. There is primary lymphedema, and that's, a lower percentage. That is something that is visible at birth. I mean, maybe there was damage to the lymphatic system. Maybe you were born without missing something, and it can show up early in adolescence. Other than that, I'm not sure the prevalence of it being hereditary.
All right. I was just about write the word prevalence down. What is the prevalence in the general population? Is it pretty high?
It's high when it comes to cancer. I mean, we're seeing the surgeries that people have to have and the way it affects the lymphatic system. I certainly believe there's an uprise in cancer cases, so I feel that there's an uprise in lymphedema cases.
So as goes cancer, breast cancer and so forth, up goes lymphedema. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, you probably don't. My Rotary Club, Westfield Mayville Rotary Club, we put together a grant, and it's a matching grant through, it's a long story, but let's just say we're able to tap into a big grant, and we're going to be providing the hospital this summer 2 mannequin bodies and cards to take home for women and men, for that matter, so for self-examination for breast cancer.
Wonderful.
So how cool is that?
Yes, that's wonderful.
So it's just an aside, because it's been one of my complaints is that there's not enough care for women in our area, women's care for health.
Yes.
And so we really are helping to zero in on that. Okay, so we talked about heart, we talked about breast cancer, but let's talk about cancer in general as far as lymphedema. So, I'm familiar with skin cancer, I'm familiar with lung cancer, unfortunately, and of course breast cancer. So how does this play out like with somebody with lung cancer? I mean, does the body swell up during that as well, or?
I don't have many, I haven't seen many lung cancer patients. And I think what happens with the swelling is, when the lymph nodes are involved.
Okay.
If it would metastasize usually through the lymph nodes to the lungs, but I don't generally see a lot of lung cancer.
Okay, so when we say
cases.
metastasize, we say the cancer breaks off and goes into the other parts of the body.
Yes, goes into other parts of the body.
In your case, if you saw somebody with lymphedema that happened to have lung cancer, it's not because of lung cancer, because it broke off and went into the lymphatic
In general speaking, I mean, I don't want to say because I'm more schooled in the breast cancer aspect.
But your experience has been there.
Yes, and you have a lot of lymph nodes in your abdominal region that we activate during treatment to pull fluids out of the limbs. So I would imagine if there's some type of colon cancer and those lymph nodes get disrupted, cancer takes its course, and then we kind of try to deal with the aftermath because we're not sure which way it's going to
All right, now
go.
you just said you have the lymphatic system in the belly area,
Yes.
and you massage that to do what?
To try, you get the whole lymphatic system pulling and activated and pulling the
So this is
the fluids.
the whole body kind of a thing.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
the whole
All right.
body.
I didn't catch that earlier.
Yes, the lymphatic system, I mean, your major lymphatic beds are here on the underarm in the axilla.
Right, I knew that, yeah.
You have them down in the groin area, the inguinal nodes.
Okay.
You have a whole lot of lymph nodes in your abdomen that we like to activate with diaphragmatic breathing. That's doing your belly breathing up and down.
Okay.
Every time the diaphragm goes up and down, it activates all those lymph nodes in your stomach. So you can do that yourself to help keep the system going, because like I said, the lymphatic system relies on other body systems to get it moving and pumping.
Wow.
Yes.
I've never heard the human body described in this manner, because you know everybody comes in from their little portion, but this is a holistic approach.
Yes, it's
Wow.
and so if we can manually get that system moving, then we can try to pull the fluids out of the affected limb and absorb it through the rest of the body.
Okay, a question just came through, and I guess I was going to get there eventually, but I'm glad that came up. So somebody that's got, I'm going to say mild case or moderate case of lymphedema, is exercise recommended?
Yes.
Okay.
Exercise is going to benefit because you have the pumping of the muscles,
Right.
which increases the blood flow in the veins, increases the flow of the lymphatic system. I think exercise is going to be one of those things that staves off so many things, as well as lymphedema and helping with it.
Okay, so if somebody is listening right now and they're concerned about lymphedema, exercise is something they should incorporate or keep doing.
Yes,
as opposed
definitely,
to,
always.
I'm sick, I can't,
Yes.
because you always hear that, I can't get out of bed because it's the old wives' tale or
Yes.
old man's tale. I'm not trying to be gender advised here. All right, so then one of the things that I remember with certain people with lymphedema, especially in the legs, that you elevate them. Does that help?
It can help when it's an injury.
Okay.
So if you sprain your ankle, you get a knee replacement, your leg is swollen up, that still means you have a healthy lymphatic system. So if you elevate your leg above heart level, the lymphatic fluid can go down and get absorbed by the inguinal lymph nodes.
Went to a different pool.
Yeah. Well, it'll go straight down
I got it figured out now.
to the first pool that it finds. And
Okay,
that pool will take care of
It
it.
seems so common sense, Okay. So now,
But if that pool's impaired
gotta go to the next one.
and you lift that leg,
Yeah.
it's really not going to do you any good because you're bringing fluid to an impaired lymphatic system.
Okay, so is lymphedema, I'm looking for the word, does it get worse over time?
Oh, yes.
So once you get it, you got it.
Yes.
Okay, so,
Once you get it and it becomes chronic and, there's an injury and you have to manage it, it'll just keep getting worse if you don't get into compression and therapy.
all right, so in your experience, because we always try to be careful not to have, claim things. In your experience, if somebody has lymphedema and they catch it relatively early, can you fight off the other 9 symptoms I mentioned forever, or is it just something you just do the best you can as you're going along, or how's that work?
You do the best you can to manage it. I can speak for my case since I had swelling of the arm and went right to therapy, got my sleeve. I've never had the host of skin changes that comes with it, and the second I feel the tightening in my arm, then the sleeve goes on, and I don't feel that I really have chronic lymphedema because of it.
Okay.
But if you don't, then it's going to go into those skin changes we talked about. It's going to keep getting worse. You're going to get the lacerations.
Okay, you mentioned tightening, and I remember now that was like number 3 symptom or something like that. So if, I don't know, let's just take your arm. So if fluids are building up, you don't have range of motion now, right? You don't have the ability to do this. So is that what you mean by tightening up?
I can feel it tightening in the armpit when it's to go. So I'll just, start with rubbing a little bit,
right, sure.
getting my sleeve on. You want to keep, even motions like this can start the lymphatic system pumping, keeping active. That's where the exercise comes into play. But just seeking treatment early is the word that we're trying to get out. That seems to be the step that's missed.
Okay, excellent. So for those hypochondriacs that think they're going to get this, is there anything to prevent it?
Just keep yourself healthy.
Exercise,
Keep moving. Keep your, just watch your diet.
Are there foods that seem to be an issue? Salt, probably?
Salt. Lymphedema falls in behind, the general foods that cause disease to the body. Too much intake of salt is going to cause swelling.
And that because salt maintains fluid, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it would have to become chronic to where you're...
Like potato chips every day?
Well, yeah, like your diet is so bad that the other systems...
That's not one of the 5 food groups my doctor told me, so I had to get rid of potato chips.
Yeah, just eat healthy and try to keep yourself exercising and avoid disease.
So this goes along with a lousy diet or lifestyle. You're going to get it.
It does, but it doesn't... I don't want any of our cancer patients to feel bad because they get struck with this. There's people that get struck with different conditions that cause this lymphedema. you know, they didn't do
Right, it's not
anything
their fault.
unhealthy to
Right. Okay.
to get.
That's fair enough. Okay, so now let's take the more severe symptoms or levels of the stages. So for somebody that they're really puffed up and it's developed further, what kind of treatment do you do for those folks?
We do the same. Sometimes we get them, you know, as you spoke of LaTroy, we can get them from the wound clinic from her, and they're swollen. So I try to work with her. Some days, if we can arrange it, she'll take the bandages off, have the person come over to Westfield, and I'll work with doing the lymphatic drainage, and then she'll go and put the bandages on. It's difficult to do our treatment when there's a substantial amount of wounds. So, you know, she tries to work with that, and we get them, work on them. But the thing that we're running into that we're having the most trouble with is people that are swelling up so much in the legs, they're unable to bend over to take care of that themselves. They're unable to bandage. It's hard to get the compression.
So therefore, the problem gets bigger.
Yeah, so we just try to make them feel better, do the lymphatic drainage, put their garments on, because once you can get some decompression, we see quite a bit of reduction with our treatment. Get the compression on, they wear it, they come back, we do treatment again. Compression only contains lymphedema from getting bigger. Our treatment can decongest. You know, they can, they're running to the bathroom, they can get rid of fluid, come back for the treatment. We do the manual lymph drainage some more, put the compression on. As soon as we can get them to decongest, it helps the skin start to heal itself.
Okay.
Because it's not being stretched.
Now, it just seems to me like when I'm out shopping and I'll see people with ace bandages or things of this like, are those lymphedema?
It could be. It could be an injury. We never use the term, like ace bandages. We use short stretch bandages because ace bandages put on lymphedema can be a nightmare. So again, that's one of those things. Have someone bandage you up instead of home.
So this is
care.
This is not only an interdepartmental thing between wound and you guys and the doctors and so forth, but even at home you need to have somebody backing you up as well, it sounds like.
Yes, I mean, help at home is our number one, either what pulls the person through or leaving a person that struggles, because they need these bandages changed.
All right, so for those who are listening and they may need some assistance, is there any helpline for that at home? Do you ever work?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so I would suggest maybe calling the Office for the Aging, and Linda Spalding is always calling in here, and they very often can get somebody to give you some assistance. Brenda Burdick, you've been my guest today, and we've got like 1 minute left. I know that seems hard to believe, and you've been doing a great job. I've understood, I think, everything. What's a phone number that they can get a hold of you, and is this a private phone call?
If you want to get a hold of me, you can call the PT department at Westfield Memorial Hospital, and the number is 716-793-2231.
793-2231. 2231. See how I did that cleverly?
Yeah.
I got you to say it twice.
Yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
So, so Brenda, 20 seconds left. What would you like to tell folks about lymphedema if they suspect it?
Get your treatment early. Tell your physician that you suspect that you have swelling. We're trying to get the word out. Call us at Westfield Memorial PT department. Get an evaluation with one of our therapists. It'll be the difference between having a life and definitely, dealing with chronic issues, pain.
Yeah, infections and so forth. Okay, so Brenda, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And will you come back another time? We'll talk about this a little bit more depth, perhaps?
I would love to.
Okay, so folks, that's Chautauqua Sunrise, and that's a wrap for another episode. I hope you found this to be of any interest. And don't hesitate to give her a call and the crew over there at Westfield Memorial Hospital and find out more. So we're going to wrap things up now, Jeff, and this is where I sign off and roll the credits. There we go. I have to prompt them sometimes. They're out back there eating candy bars or something. Probably talking, certain people's husbands. So take care. We're going to see you in the end of June. So I hope you enjoyed this, and do take care. Bye now. So just.